Hi everybody, Gemma here from Daybreak Dogs Limited in North Somerset. I'm here with George, my lovely customer happiness assistant. She's here with me. She's gathered some questions that you've sent through to her this week about like dog training struggles that you're having and just difficulties that you wanted a little bit more help with. Now the key one that came up, and this came up a couple of times, so we thought it was definitely worth bringing up. Was what you do with a dog that just pulls on the lead all the time. Because let's face it, it's not a lot of fun taking them out and about walking if you're constantly having to do battle with them, and you know, you need a chiropractor and an osteopath and physio and things just to be able to fix yourselves after you've been out for a walk with them. So what we've got is 4 tips for you about how you can improve their loose lead walking. So hopefully you can go into the weekend with a much more positive outlook on how you're going to deal with your dog walking while they're on the lead. So first and foremost, this is the really big tip, and this is the one where mostly people go wrong. And I'm going to try and turn the camera around. Bear with me because this is the first time I've done this. But I'm going to try and turn you around so that you can see the different leads that I've got out here on George's kitchen workstop. So bear with me a sec. Over. Okay, so here's the first thing. This is a normal, everyday, bog standard lead, okay? One that you would get from maybe one of the pets at home type shops, that sort of thing. All right? The trouble with these leads is that they're really, really short. So most people, I'm just going to pass you over to George for her to hold the camera so I can show you what I mean. So most people, my mum being one of them, sorry mum, but I've got to bring it up. Most people like to hold their dog's lead by wrapping their hand around the lead several times. Now, I'm not a big fan of that anyway, because I think you can easily be pulled off balance, but here's the reason it doesn't work. How is your dog going to walk on a loose lead with about that much lead? Not going to happen, okay? It really cannot happen. But I do understand, sometimes people like to gather the lead up like that because they want to feel confident that they've got their dog and it's not going to lunge into the traffic or hurt another person while you're out and about. So, here's my fix for you. That what you're going to do instead is you're going to take a much longer lead. So Max has come to join in actually. So can we point it at Max? There we go. So Max here, there we go. Can you see now has loads and loads of lead, and that means that I can still hold a decent proportion of the lead like this, and he's still got a decent proportion of the lead there as well. So let me just switch that over so that there we go. So George, if you just want to, can you see the difference there with the dog having all of that extra length of lead? So even if I am the sort of person that wants to wrap the lead round a couple of times, I can still be holding onto the dog's lead really tightly and make sure that they've still got some lead to have a loose lead on as well. Thank you, darling. He's like, are we going for a walk now? Is that what we're doing? Well, not quite. Not quite. We've got to do a couple more things. Okay. So that's one of the things. Now, one of the other problems about going out walking is that people tend to have their dogs on a collar. And the problem with a collar is that dogs will start to lean into that collar, and that causes that pulling effect. So tip number 2 is get your dog into a harness. Now, we really, really like the Dog Games Perfect Fit harnesses because they're a bit like a very specialist upmarket bra, to be perfectly honest. And they come in 3 different pieces. So we have a top piece like this, and a front chest piece like so, and then a specialist girth that goes around your tummy, doesn't it? Do you want to go on your thing? That's perfect, isn't it? Yeah, I know. That's very helpful. I know, kissy face. A kissy face. So now what I have instead is I have a dog that's now contained in a harness, which means I've got a little bit more connection with him. But this is also where you need a different type of lead if you're going down this route, is having a lead that will attach to 2 points of contact. So I've got one on the front. That's good. That's good. So we've got 2 points of contact on him now. So now I can treat him a little bit like a little horse, and I can walk along like this, and I've got both hands on the lead so that I'm comfortable that I've got control of him. But also, if I want to give him a bit more lead, I can unclip that front bit. He can have a little bit more, that's fine as well, isn't it, kid? Depending on where we are. And it means that I've got a much greater chance that he's not going to be pulling on the lead when we're going along the road. Okay, so that's your tip number 2, is to get them in a harness. Tip number 3 is extendable lead, okay? Not our friend, are they? So the extendable lead, basically in order to get any length of lead, your dog has to pull. So what you are teaching your dog when they are attached to an extendable lead is, this is how you pull. I don't want my dog to learn how they pull. So if your dog is on an extendable lead, and I know people have good reasons for having dogs on extendable leads, if they're on an extendable lead, what I want you to do is I want you to think about switching to a long line instead. Now your dog's probably on an extendable lead, either because it's not safe to be off lead, like by a road, but truthfully I think on an extendable lead, maybe that's even more dangerous than being on a sort of shorter lead. But here's the thing, with a dog that you can't call back, and that's the reason it's on the extendable lead, so you're worried about it going and bothering other dogs or other people and that sort of thing, what you're going to do is you're going to put a long line on them. Now I love these long lines. This is from a company called Tug Enough. Now they do really, really cool dog toys too, so go and check them out. Although possibly just after payday, otherwise you might find that your bank balance suffers. So with a long line, this is something that I can then let drop behind the dog, and then if I need to get hold of them, I can step on it, or I can grab hold of it in order to reel them on in. But I'm not going to be teaching my dog to pull, because honestly it's so lightweight, I'm going to let it drop and dangle behind them. It's not going to be a massive issue, is it? You're being a very good model. That's really super. Thank you. That's really good. Right then, tip number 4, and this is the last tip, is I want you to think about how important it is to you that your dog walks on a loose lead. Now that might sound completely ridiculous, but here's the thing, my dogs don't go on the lead very often. So the times that they would be on the lead are when we're around agility shows, or we are maybe heading into like a new training venue, something like that. They don't need to walk brilliant on a lead a lot of the time. So it's not a really big thing that I invest a lot of time in. However, if you want to take your dog down to pick up the kids from school, if you want to take them down to the shops while you're out and about, then it's going to be much more important to you, and obviously you're going to want to invest more time and training into that. So my tip 4 is really just to think about how important it is to you. Is there ways that you can manage the situation, maybe through wearing a harness, or maybe popping your dog on a head collar for the odd time that they're going to be on the lead? Or if you need your dog to be walking nicely on a lead, then make sure to invest lots of time and training into it, and certainly, find a good force-free training class to help you do that, because it is a skill that everybody can have. It just takes a bit of time and a bit of patience while you're doing it. So I think that was tip 4. I think we're all done. So I want you to go away, enjoy your dogs, enjoy the weekend, and I'll see you next Friday. Cheers, bye.